Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Rupender Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. More than 2.60 crore houses provided with tap water connection in the last 15 months, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Foundation for several rural drinking water supply projects in Uttar Pradesh laid by Prime Minister says every household in Vindhyachal and Bundelkhand will soon get tap water. Centre rushes teams to Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh to support in COVID response and management. Rajasthan imposes night curfew in 8 worst affected district headquarters due to spike in COVID cases. And in tennis, top seeds Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic crash out of the Atp Finals. Dominic team to take on Daniil Medvedev in the title match today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today laid the foundation stone for several rural water projects in Mirzapur and Sonbhadra district in Uttar Pradesh. While laying the foundation stone of the 23 drinking water projects in Vindhyachal region, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the drinking water project in Mirzapur and Sonbhadra district will not only provide clean water to the people, but it will also be helpful in eradicating several diseases. Prime Minister said if there is any region that was neglected for decades after independence, then it is this region that was neglected the most. He added that because of that, many people were forced to relocate from here. In the coming time, when 3,500 villages get water supply, it will change the lives of over 40 lakh people. He said that lakhs of families will get drinking water at their homes under the scheme. Be it Vindhyachal or Bundelkhand, despite having a lot of resources, these regions became regions of deficiencies.
विंध्याचल हो, बुंदेलखंड हो, ये पूरा क्षेत्र संसाधनों के बावजूद अभाव का क्षेत्र बन गया। इतनी नदियां होने के बावजूद इसकी पहचान सबसे अधिक प्यासे और सूखा प्रभावित क्षेत्रों की ही रही। जब यहाँ के 3,000 गांवों तक पाइप से पानी पहुंचेगा तो 40 लाख से भी ज्यादा साथियों का जीवन बदल जाएगा। इससे यूपी के, देश के हर घर तक जल पहुंचाने के संकल्प को भी एक बहुत बड़ी ताकत मिलेगी।
This will also further the effort of getting water supply to every household in the state and the country. Uttar Pradesh is an example of development despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. This is changing the image of the Uttar Pradesh government and its people, he added. Prime Minister said it has been over a year of Har Ghar Jal scheme. Over 2.60 crore families have been provided access to clean drinking water through taps at their homes. Projects started today will further speed up, he said. The projects will provide household tap water connections in all rural households of 2,995 villages and will benefit about 42 lakh population of Mirzapur and Sonbhadra districts.
करीब करीब 1 साल से भी ऊपर समय हो गया है। इस दौरान देश में 2 करोड़ 60 लाख से ज्यादा परिवारों को उनके घरों में नल से शुद्ध पीने का पानी पहुंचाने का इंतजाम हो चुका है। आज जो परियोजनाएं शुरू हो रही हैं, उससे भी इस अभियान को और गति मिलेगी। इसके अलावा अटल भूजल योजना के तहत पानी के स्तर को बढ़ाने के लिए जो काम हो रहा है, वो भी इस क्षेत्र को बहुत मदद करने वाला है।
Village water and sanitation committees of Pani Samiti have been constituted in all these villages who will shoulder the responsibility of operation and maintenance. The total estimated cost of the projects is 5,555.38 crores. The projects are planned to be completed in 24 months. Prime Minister said that Vindhyachal region is going to be the pioneer in the field of solar energy, and people will not only be able to light the houses, but they could make a earning also.
विंध्याचल क्षेत्र में बरसों से लटकी सिंचाई परियोजनाओं को पूरा किया जा रहा है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ बंजर जमीन पर किसान सौर ऊर्जा से बिजली पैदा करके अतिरिक्त कमाई कर सके, इसके लिए भी मदद की जा रही है। हमारा अन्नदाता ऊर्जा दाता बने, वो अन्न पैदा करता है, लोगों का पेट भरता है। अब वो अपने ही खेत में उसके साथ साथ ऊर्जा भी पैदा कर सकता है और लोगों को प्रकाश भी दे सकता है। हम विंध्य क्षेत्र के विकास के लिए हर संभव प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
He said by implementing Swamitva Yojana, the disputes of land will be decreased and people could be able to get loans also on papers and documents. He said that his government is working on the principle of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and the government is reaching the people and people are becoming a part of the government decision making. Speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the drinking water project will not only provide clean water to the people here, but it will also save them from various diseases which are due to contaminated water.
इसमें 9 पाइप पेयजल परियोजनाएं जनपद मिर्जापुर की और 14 पाइप पेयजल की परियोजना जनपद सोनभद्र की हैं। 2995 गांव इन परियोजनाओं के निर्माण से लाभान्वित होने जा रहे हैं। इन परियोजनाओं में कुल 5,555 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक की धनराशि खर्च होगी और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि 10 वर्षों तक इन परियोजनाओं के कार्य पूरा होने के उपरांत उसके अनुरक्षण का दायित्व भी कार्यदायी संस्था के द्वारा ग्राम पंचायत के साथ मिलकर के उसका कार्य संपन्न किया जाएगा।
He said as of now, after independence, only 398 villages were connected with water facility, and it will be a historic step when 2,995 villages in these two districts will get drinking water through pipe. Earlier, Mr. Modi interacted with members of the Pani Samiti of the districts.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has termed the COVID-19 pandemic as an important turning point in history of humanity and the biggest challenge the world is facing since the World War II. He called for decisive action by G20, not limited to economic recovery, jobs and trade, but focusing on preserving planet Earth. He was speaking at the 15th G20 summit convened by Saudi Arabia in a virtual format. Mr. Modi called for a new global index for the post-corona world that comprises 4 key elements. These are creation of a vast talent pool, ensuring that technology reaches all segments of the society, transparency in systems of governance, and dealing with Mother Earth with a spirit of trusteeship. He asserted that based on this, the G20 can lay the foundation of a new world. The Prime Minister underscored that while there has been an emphasis on capital and finance in the past few decades, the time has come to focus on multi-skilling and reskilling to create a vast human talent pool. This would not only enhance dignity of citizens, but would make citizens more resilient to face crises. He also said that any assessment of new technology should be based on its impact on ease of living and quality of life. Noting that work from anywhere is a new normal in the post-COVID world, the Prime Minister also suggested creation of G20 Virtual Secretariat as a follow-up and documentation repository. The G20 Leader Summit would continue today, culminating in the adoption of the Leaders' Declaration and with Saudi Arabia passing on the presidency to Italy. Global terror financing watchdog FATF has said that G20 nations must start leading by example and act now to stop money laundering. Financial Action Task Force President Marcus Player said financial systems of many countries are exposed to money laundering, terrorist financing and proliferation financing. He said even though G20 publicly calls for the full implementation of Financial Action Task Force standards around the globe, not all G20 members have taken effective action to make a real difference. In an article titled Lead by Example, the FATF president said, failing to take action means organized criminals will indulge in trafficking people, drugs, arms and wildlife, and corrupt stakeholders and terrorists will operate with impunity.
With 45,209 new cases, country's total COVID-19 cases went up to 90,95,807. Health Ministry said with 501 new deaths in the last 24 hours, the death toll has reached 1,33,227. Total active cases stand at 4,40,962. In the last 24 hours, 43,493 people were discharged. With this, the total discharge cases stand at 85,21,617. ICMR said a total of 13,17,33,134 have been samples tested for COVID-19 in the country till yesterday. Of these, 10,75,326 samples were tested yesterday. 26 states and UTs have less than 20,000 active cases as on date. 7 states and UTs have active cases between 20 to 50,000, whereas Maharashtra and Kerala are reporting more than 50,000 caseload. 77.68% of the new recovered cases is contributed by 10 states and UTs. Delhi saw 6,963 persons recover from COVID. Kerala reported 6,719 and Maharashtra reported 4,088 new recoveries. 22.16% of new fatalities reported are from Delhi, which reported 111 deaths. Maharashtra saw a fatality count of 62, while West Bengal reported another 53.
Centre has rushed high-level teams to Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh to support the states in COVID response and management. These states have been either reporting a rise in the number of active cases or demonstrating a rise in the daily new cases. These 3-member teams will visit the districts reporting high number of COVID cases and support the state efforts towards strengthening containment, surveillance, testing, infection prevention and control measures, and efficient clinical management of the positive cases. The central teams shall also guide in effectively managing the challenges related to timely diagnosis and follow-up. Earlier, Centre had sent high-level teams to Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Manipur and Chhattisgarh. For the first time in Delhi, the number of RT-PCR tests have exceeded the rapid antigen tests. This follows Home Minister Amit Shah taking the lead in combating COVID surge in Delhi and ordering ramping up of medical infrastructure and following novel strategy to contain the spike. 250 ventilators that have been delivered to the DRDO hospital are being installed. House-to-house survey has also begun in Delhi and over 370,000 persons have been surveyed on 20th of this month. AIIMS has initiated the process of recruiting 207 additional junior residents.
In Rajasthan, night curfew has been imposed at the 8 worst affected district headquarters due to rise in COVID cases. The decision was taken at a cabinet meeting late last night. The district headquarters where curfew has been imposed include Jaipur, Jodhpur, Kota, Bikaner, Udaipur, Ajmer, Alwar and Bhilwara. Our correspondent has filed this report.
There shall be night curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in municipal limits of 8 district headquarters. All markets, restaurants, shopping malls and other commercial institutions will be closed by 7 p.m. People taking part in wedding ceremony, essential services including medicines and those traveling in bus, train and airplane will be allowed during night curfew. Apart from this, the fine imposed on not wearing mask has been increased from rupees 200 to rupees 500. Maximum 100 people will be allowed in political, social, religious, cultural programs, including marriage ceremony in the entire state. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In Odisha, COVID-19 sample tests have crossed 55 lakh. On the other hand, while the total positive cases of the state have increased to 3,13,323, the number of recovery has also gone up to 3,04,908, more from a correspondent.
With a positivity rate of 5.8%, Odisha is witness to a continuous contraction in cases as against COVID-19 resurgence in some other states. In terms of COVID-19 death too, with 1,625 fatalities so far, the state has a comparatively low case fatality rate of around 0.5%. Even as the positivity rate drops, the active case load too has tumbled down below 8,000. Even out of the active cases, more than 75% are convalescing in the comforts of home isolation, thereby easing pressure on the COVID-19 healthcare architecture of the state. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
The condition of former Chief Minister of Assam and veteran Congress leader Tarun Gogoi has further deteriorated with multi-organ failure today. He was put on invasive ventilation at Guwahati Medical College and Hospital. He was not keeping well for the past few days following post-COVID-19 complications. Several leaders of Congress and BJP have visited the hospital to inquire about the health condition of Mr. Gogoi. In Mizoram, 40 fresh cases of coronavirus infections were detected while 11 patients recovered in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID-19 positive cases rose to 3,647. According to the state COVID bulletin, the recovery rate stands at 86.55%. So far, 3,157 infected people have recovered and presently 485 persons are undergoing treatment.
In Tripura, the COVID recovery rate has further improved to 96.33% as 31,156 people have been cured so far. In the past 24 hours, 75 new cases of coronavirus were detected, while 95 patients were discharged from hospitals after recovery. The State Health Bulletin also stated that the total number of infected people rose to 32,367. As of today, 822 infected people are undergoing treatment. Arunachal Pradesh continues to record low rate of COVID-19 daily infections. On Saturday, the state recorded 36 fresh cases, taking the total confirmed cases to 16,037. Meanwhile, 67 recovered, taking the total cases to 14,937. The recovery rate of the state is 93.14%. With this, the total active cases in the state stands at 1,051. 49 deaths are reported so far.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. More than 2.60 crore houses provided with tap water connection in the last 15 months, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Foundation for several rural drinking water supply projects in Uttar Pradesh laid by Prime Minister says every household in Vindhyachal and Bundelkhand will soon get tap water. Centre rushes team to Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh to support in COVID response and management. Rajasthan imposes night curfew in 8 worst affected district headquarters due to spike in COVID cases. And in tennis, top seeds Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic crash out of ATP Finals. Dominic Thiem to take on Daniil Medvedev in title match today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. Punjab farmers have decided to end their rail roko protests from tomorrow. Protesters said they have decided to lift the rail blockade so that both passenger and goods trains can have a smooth movement. They said the decision has been taken keeping in view the problems being faced by the people of Punjab, be it traders, industrialists or workers. Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh has urged the centre to restore all train services in the state. Railway Ministry said they have received communication from Punjab government for resumption of both goods and passenger train services. In a tweet, the ministry said they have been informed that tracks are now clear for train operations. In Assam, 2 senior leaders of the Bodoland People's Front BPF former MP Biswajit Daimari and MLA Emmanuel Mosahari joined the BJP today. Chief Minister Sarvanand Sonowal, State BJP President Ranjit Kumar Das and National General Secretary Dilip Saikia attended the joining program in Guwahati. Biswajit Daimari, who has recently resigned from the Rajya Sabha MP post, was the executive president of the BPF, while Mr. Mosahari was the general secretary of the party. On this occasion, Mr. Sonowal welcomed both the leaders to BJP and hoped that their joining would benefit the party. Our correspondent reports that BPF is the ruling partner of the BJP in the state and also a member of the Northeast Democratic Alliance, NEDA. However, both the parties are fighting against each other in the Bodoland Territorial Council polls to be held next month. Information and Broadcasting Minister and BJP senior leader Prakash Javadekar today said people of Hyderabad should choose between a mayor from a corrupt TRS party or from BJP, which will fulfill all assurances given to people. He was addressing media after releasing BJP charge sheet against TRS and MIM parties in the wake of Greater Hyderabad municipal elections. Mr. Javadekar alleged that the TRS government did not fulfill its assurances given to people of Hyderabad and was involved in corruption.
केंद्र की जो योजनाएं हैदराबाद में यानी तेलंगाना में लागू नहीं है, उसमें आयुष्मान योजना लागू नहीं है, आवास योजना लागू नहीं है, फसल बीमा योजना लागू नहीं है, किसान और बाकी सब फायदे से वंचित रहे हैं। ऐसे ही इकोनॉमिकली बैकवर्ड क्लास को 10% आरक्षण दिया है, संविधान में संशोधन करके दिया है, लेकिन वो तेलंगाना में लागू नहीं किया है। हम इसकी भर्त्सना करते हैं। सभी जातियों में गरीब लोग हैं, गरीब को मदद करना मिलना चाहिए और गरीब को आरक्षण देने का ऐतिहासिक फैसला केंद्र ने किया, लेकिन वो नहीं यहाँ दे रहे हैं।
In Bihar, a hardcore Nakshal was killed in a fierce gun battle in Gaya district late last night. Jharkhand government had announced rupees 10 lakh award on the Nakshal who was killed. 2 modern equipment and ammunition were recovered from the Maoists. The SSP Rajiv Mishra said 2 villagers also lost their lives and 4 Cobra Jawans were injured in gun battle. Injured Jawans have been admitted in Anugraha Narayan Hospital, Gaya for treatment. The incident occurred at Mahuhari village under Barchati police station of Gaya district when people were watching dance program. A combing operation is continuing in nearby areas to nab Maoists.
Minister of State for Power, New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh has said that the rate of growth of the renewable energy capacity in the country is the highest in the world, and the world has recognized the efforts of India in limiting global warming. Talking to AI News, Mr. Singh said, transitioning from fossil fuel to green energy is a major step forward, and India is now leading country in this transition. He said India has not only achieved the goals set as nationally determined contributions under the Paris Climate Agreement, but already crossed it. He said India committed to install 175 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity on the sidelines of the Paris Agreement and pledged in the COP21 that 40% of the installed capacity will come from renewable energy by the year 2023.
Today, we are one of the fastest growing countries insofar as renewable energy capacity is concerned. If you take the renewable energy capacity which has been installed and which is under installation, it comes to about 190,000 megawatts, 190,000, which is near about 60% of our total installed capacity. So we have not only achieved the goal which we had set for ourselves to be achieved by 2030, we have in fact crossed it.
Stressing on the importance of renewable energy, Mr. Singh said environment and global warming emerge as a major concern for the world. He said every country in the world has realized that there has to be concerted efforts to reduce their carbon footprint. He said renewable energy is essential for the survival of our planet, and it is cheaper in comparison to the energy generated from fossil fuel. Indian Navy ships, including indigenously built ASW corvette Kamorta and missile corvette Karmuk, are participating in the second edition of India-Singapore and Thailand trilateral maritime exercise SITMAX 20 in Andaman Sea. The 2-day exercise got underway yesterday. First edition of SITMAX, hosted by the Indian Navy, was conducted off Port Blair in September last year. The SITMAX series of exercises are conducted to enhance mutual interoperability and imbibing best practices between Indian Navy, Republic of Singapore Navy and Royal Thai Navy. All the major reservoirs that cater to the water needs of Chennai are filling up fast due to good rain in the catchment areas. In addition, the new reservoir dedicated by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah at Tharvai Kandigai village in neighbouring Thiruvallur district yesterday is said to augment the availability of water for the city. More from a correspondent.
Chennai had 4 major reservoirs till yesterday at Chambarampakam, Pundi, Sholavaram and Red Hill. Last year by this time, all the 4 together had 3,193 million cubic feet of water. But thanks to the good rainfall during the recently concluded southwest monsoon and the prevailing northeast monsoon, the inflow has been copious, leading to the level fast rising up. Currently, they have a total of 7,176 million cubic feet of water, which is more than twice the level during the same period last year. In addition, the new water body dedicated by the Union Home Minister Amit Shah yesterday at Thervai Kandigai village has the capacity to store about 1,000 million cubic feet of water. It augments the total capacity for the city so that the water requirements of the metropolis during normal monsoon season could be easily managed by the city water managers. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the District Development Commissioner Kulgam Shaukat Ejaz Bhatt chaired a meeting to take stock of arrangements for smooth conduct of forthcoming Urs of Hazrat Mir Sayyid Ali Simnani at Kulgam. During the meeting, the DDC directed the Jal Shakti and Power Development Departments to ensure uninterrupted water and electricity supply to the town and vicinity areas during the Urs days. Mr. Bhatt directed the concerned officers and Awqaf committee to ensure strict adherence to SOPs and guidelines in view of the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. National Cadet Corps, NCC, the largest uniformed youth organization in the world, is celebrating its 72nd Raising Day today. The Raising Day function was marked by paying homage at the National War Memorial to the fallen heroes who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives. Defense Secretary Ajay Kumar and DG NCC Lieutenant General Rajiv Chopra laid wreaths on behalf of the entire NCC fraternity. Defense Secretary said the NCC cadets have contributed by participating selflessly during the COVID-19 pandemic as Corona warriors to spread awareness about measures to fight against the pandemic. The cadets and associate NCC officers led by example in activities such as Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat and Fit India.
In tennis, world number 3 Dominic Thiem will take on Daniil Medvedev in the title match of the ATP Finals today. Thiem defeated Novak Djokovic in a thrilling last four clash to reach the final. The 27-year-old Austrian appeared to be sliding to defeat when he trailed 0-4 in the third set tiebreak, but stormed back to claim a 7-5, 6-7, 7-6 victory at London's O2 Arena. With the win, Thiem has reached the final for the second successive year. In the other semi-final, fourth-seeded Daniil Medvedev defeated the 20-time Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal. Medvedev struggled early on in the match as Nadal backed the first set 6-3. The Russian fought his way back to take the second set in a tiebreaker. Medvedev carried the rhythm in the third set as he claimed the match with a scoreline of 3-6, 7-6, 6-3. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Samajwadi Party leader Mulayam Singh Yadav and greeted him on his birthday. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Mulayam Singh Yadav is one of the senior-most and experienced leaders of the country who is passionate about agriculture and rural development.
National capital Delhi's air quality is in the poor category today morning as the air quality index AQI was recorded at 263 at 7 a.m. The city has been struggling with very poor air quality since the beginning of winter season. It deteriorated during the Diwali week. Spike in farm fires, calm winds and other local factors are among the reasons for deteriorating air quality in Delhi.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. N.N. Mathur, Director, Lady Hardinge Medical College, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1-800-11-5767.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have hazy sky. The minimum temperature recorded in the morning was 6 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 24 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, sky will be mainly clear. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 22 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 33 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 25 and 31 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 20 and 28 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in Srinagar, generally cloudy sky with light rain is expected. The minimum temperature was -3 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 10 degrees. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 7 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 21 degrees. In Leh, there will be generally cloudy sky. The minimum temperature will be -12 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 2 degrees. Gilgit will experience generally clear sky and the temperature will hover between -4 and 14 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 5 and 16 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 7 and 23 degrees Celsius. The city will have mainly clear sky.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. More than 2.60 crore houses provided with tap water connection in the last 15 months, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Foundation for several rural drinking water supply projects in Uttar Pradesh laid by Prime Minister says every household in Vidyanchal and Bundelkhand will soon get tap water. Centre rushes teams to Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh to support in COVID response and management. Rajasthan imposes night curfew in 8 worst affected district headquarters due to spike in COVID cases. And in tennis, top seeds Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic crash out of the ATP Finals. Dominic team to take on Daniil Medvedev in the title match today. And with that we end the Midday News.